everyone, and welcome back. I'm Adriana Monique Alvarez with Alma Publishing, and we are continuing our conversations with the contributors of Awakening, and I'm super excited to have Emma today. Hi, Emma. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks, Adriana. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So tell us where in the world you're joining us from.
I'm in Perth, Australia.
I love all you Australians. I mean, I tell my dad, I got to figure out how to bring that thing closer to me, like I can just like swim to you all instead of fly like 16 hours,
How good would that be?
It would be a party, I'll say that.
It would. The party boat. We just need to set up a party boat that goes between the two and we'll just hang out there.
That's a good idea. We need a private yacht between the two.
Oh, that sounds like heaven.
So Emma, you were in, what was it, Trailblazers? You were in, yes, you were the first.
Yeah.
And you were in Awakening. Tell me what you decided to write about in Awakening and why.
And so the Awakening Project really excited me because it was really aimed at those people who are being woken up this year. 2020 is a really unusual year. It's a really different time for the whole world, and there's so many people that are opening their eyes to new things and awakening in this time. And so that is why it was such an exciting project for me. And what I chose to write about was my journey from very unwell to healed, and how I got there using medical intuition and what it awakened in me, and the tools and the lessons I learned along the way, so that I could share them with people who may be going through something similar, who may not have access to their doctor, or who may be looking for some other way to heal themselves, to get out of the medical system, and to heal themselves from within, because we all have that power to heal from within. So I shared my story as a part of that, and that was and in doing so, it can show what's possible. It can absolutely show what's possible, because what I see with my clients as a medical intuitive is that anything is possible when it comes to our health, and we have an incredible amount of power to heal ourselves from within.
That is so true. And, I'm always drawn to when you say this, because a lot of what is told to us from the outside is that healing or, treatment comes from the outside. We receive it from the outside, right? And so, like you said, this inside game, it really does awaken us to the amazing capacity that our mind, our spirit, our soul, our body, all of this together has, yes?
Yes, absolutely. We have this incredible power. Each of us has this power. You have this power, and everybody watching has this power as well. And you're all intuitive beings. You all have this deep connection to your own intuition. Nobody is more intuitive than you. It's just that we've forgotten. We forget, and we squash it down as we grow up. And when we can reconnect with that, we get to understand and interpret the messages coming through our body, and they can guide us in every aspect of our lives. And every one of those things that we can be guided in helps an aspect of us to heal from within. And that's really powerful. And we so often hand over our responsibility to medical doctors, and I have great respect for medical doctors. They do an incredible job. But the problem is, we as patients, we as clients, we come in and just say, heal me, fix me, give me a pill, do some surgery, fix me. And that's us handing over responsibility for our own lives. That's us handing over responsibility for our own health. And yet we are not necessarily realizing where we already have that power, where we don't need to hand it over to the outside. Of course, that's not always going to go well, because it's our responsibility. Our health is our responsibility. And we do have the power to make radical change within our human body. And some of that is quite unbelievable, that we can radically transform. We can rid ourselves of cancerous tumors within weeks or less. We can do incredible things. The things that I've seen with my clients and with some of the healing journeys that I've been privileged to witness, it's just mind-blowing what we have the ability to do when we know that it is our responsibility and take back that power that we always had. We just choose to hand it over. Sometimes, and I used to do the same thing. I used to do the exact same thing. My background is as a conventional physiotherapist and nutritionist. So my background is in conventional health. I used to work in the public health system in a hospital, and in several hospitals, actually. It was very busy. And so, my background was the same. I had huge faith in the medical system, and I went through that same process as my body became very unwell in my 20s. And I realized in that process that all of me handing over my power to others got me nowhere. I got sicker, I got more medication, I got a whole grocery list of diagnoses, and I was told I'd have them all for life. I'd have to take that medication daily for life, and it would have to increase as I got older because I was going to get sicker. And, all of that in my 20s, I thought, that can't be right. I don't understand. I don't understand why nobody has the answer. Why can no one fix this for me? And so I went, there has to be another way. There has to be another way. And I searched and researched, and being a scientist by nature, and deeply spiritual, I look at things from every angle. So I really merge science and spirituality, and I did that in my own healing journey as well. So I found piece by piece the pieces of the puzzle, and did heal every aspect of my own health journey. I no longer have those lifelong diagnoses that I was going to have forever. I no longer take all the fistfuls of medication that I needed to take forever, thank goodness. And I haven't done for years. So it is possible. And it's not just possible for me, it's possible for all of us. It's absolutely possible for all of us. So our body is really bringing through messages through our symptoms, and that's the key. That is the key, because we see our symptoms as an inconvenience that we need to squash, an inconvenience that we need to take a painkiller for a headache and just make it go away. But the painkiller isn't getting to the source of the headache. A headache isn't there because you're deficient in painkillers, and inflammation isn't in your body because you're deficient in anti-inflammatories. So it's not getting to the reason that these things are showing up for us. And when we actually uncover the reasons why the pain is there, why the inflammation is there, why the illness or the injury has shown up for us, and they show up for us, not to us, they happen to support us. And when we uncover that root cause, that reason, then we actually have a chance to heal. We actually have a chance to not have the headache again, to not have that inflammatory condition within our body again, because we've got to the reason why the inflammation showed up. And it's not always physiological. That's the thing that I learned in my journey as well. It's not always physiological. We think our body is just cells. We think our body is just blood and skin and bones and muscles, and it's not that simple. You are so much more complex and beautiful than that. Thank goodness.
Yes. Many layers, yes.
Many layers. That's exactly right. And so, it's really about uncovering all of those layers. So it may be something as a chemical imbalance within the body. It may be something cellular. It may be something hormonal. However, it may also be something you're eating. It may also be something that you're rubbing on your body. It may also be a toxic relationship. It may also be a toxic job situation. It may also be really toxic beliefs and self-talk that are eating away at you from the inside. And so these things can be so many different things. They are just as real and just as tangible as an issue with a cell within your body. And that's the key, is that we don't realize that we're metaphysical before we're physical. So metaphysical being those intangible aspects of us, the beliefs, the fears, the thoughts, the perceptions, the traumas, all of that exists before it exists within our physiology. It creates disease and injury within our body. And so we have this ability to listen to the symptoms coming through our body and trace it back to why it showed up. And when we find out why it showed up and we clear that, we work on that, and we change that from within, then our physiology changes as well. And our body has measurable changes that can be a radical healing experience for us.
I love this, because what you do, what I love about what you do, and I watch you, I'm an official stalker of yours, You're always helping people connect these dots, right? So this noticing, this awareness, what are my emotions? What are my thoughts? What are the words I'm speaking to myself? What are the foods I'm eating? Why? Like one of my favorite things from the get-go that you had said is, why are you craving the sweets? Right?
Yep.
And I love this about your work, because then you get us thinking, because it's so easy to be on autopilot, right?
Yeah, exactly. So easy to be on autopilot. We are so ready to accept less than we are worth. We are so ready to accept that I just have a sweet tooth and I'm always going to be overweight. We are so ready to accept that we're going to have diabetes for life. We're so ready to accept that that we're not worthy of something better. I mean, even down to, you know, I was only talking about it the other day to my practitioner students, that our bowel habits, we're so ready to accept abnormal as normal. You know, it's right down to that level. We're so ready to accept that we're just a night owl and we never sleep.
Right.
And it's like, no, you can actually expect better than that. You can actually ask your body and ask the universe, ask your life to give you better than that. You deserve better than that. So aim for more. Don't accept that I'm always just going to eat sweet things and I know that it damages my body. Okay, why? Why are you craving the sweet stuff? What are you really hungry for? What's actually behind that? Because that's, once you nourish that, it doesn't matter what you eat after that point, it won't be taking root in your physiology, you know, and that's the key. That's absolutely the key. And, you know, why not work on trying to figure out how to optimize our sleep, how to optimize our digestive system, how to make every aspect of our life a better form of normal, as opposed to going, well, that's just normal for me, and assuming that's okay, you know, that's, well, I just have to deal with that because that's just normal for me. No, you can have a new normal. And you know, the amount of people I introduce to their new normal and go, oh my God, I didn't know I could actually feel this good. You know, that's just, you just think, oh, I just wish I could have met you 10 years ago.
Exactly.
It's true. Years.
You know, one of the things I hear often, oh, well, my mom had high blood pressure, so then I must as well, right? It's like taking on this family thing, and you, of course, you're obligated to carry it and have the same thing. And I love this, like, you can always have more, you can always have better, you can always have improvement. You can totally rewrite it, right? You can be the one who goes, we don't have that in our family medical history, you know? We don't do that anymore.
Exactly. You don't have to own that story. And that's the thing. We own our diagnosis once we've got one. And it's like the health system equivalent of a voodoo curse. Once we own that diagnosis, and I understand, having been there myself, I absolutely understand the journey to getting to that point that the diagnosis then answers so many questions. So, you know, there is a point for it, and it's really useful at that time for an individual. It's very useful also for the medical team. The diagnosis is really for the medical team because it allows them to know, okay, well, it's this, it's not all these other things. We can give you these treatments, and this is the expected course or prognosis of that condition. So it's really useful for that medical team. And the thing is, for the individual, from that point of getting the diagnosis, it becomes reality. And as soon as we believe it, as soon as we say that's my story, as soon as we say I have MS, I'm stuck with MS, I need to join all the help groups with MS, I know it's going to get worse. As soon as we own that story, it becomes concrete. And as soon as it's concrete, we have no way out. We cannot heal from it because we believe it, and it becomes our reality. From that point of getting the diagnosis, you need to throw it out the window and go, okay, well, that explains my journey to here. It's not my story. I'm going to take a new story from this point. Your diagnosis is not who you are, and your prognosis is not the determined course for your life. It's based on a bunch of normals. It's based on a bunch of what we sort of have expected for the majority of people. You are an exception. You are not the majority of people. You get to choose your path because you choose how you show up each day and how you honor your body and what choices you make from that point. And you can release those diagnoses anytime you choose to. Sometimes, yes, we may live with some symptoms. Sometimes, yes, we may live with, you know, conditions that have remission and flare-ups. But it's about managing what we have and doing it as best we can, knowing that our body has limits. And it reminds us when we need to stop. It reminds us when we've been pushing too hard or when we've been not honoring ourselves.
So true. It's in constant communication with us.
Constant communication. And we just need to learn how to hear it and how to turn down that background noise on it as well. So the background noise on that communication, that intuitive communication, because the communication comes through the symptoms, but we also receive guidance along with those symptoms if we're open to receiving it. And that guidance can come in the form of a deep knowing or an image or the hearing a song on the radio that feels like it's got a message for us. It can be in a few different ways, and many times it's fun. Often it can be seeing the same thing, blue cars everywhere or ladybirds wherever we go. It can be really quite fun if we allow it to be. But what we can do is allow it to guide us, and it becomes a little bit like breadcrumbs in our life to guide our choices, because our choices hold weight in our physiology. And it's those choices that change our course of our life, change the course of our health. And so if we are seeing those choices as powerful as they are and making them from that deeply connected intuitive place, then we are more able to walk down a different path, choose a different story for our life.
So Emma, what does the world look like when more of us come back into this knowing and trust our bodies and learn how to listen and heal from within?
Well, the vision I see is a health system that is no longer overwhelmed, a health system that is no longer struggling to keep up with all the new diseases and struggling to keep up with the need for medication, because medication becomes something that's only used when it's absolutely required to preserve life. And I see that vision of each of us having that power. So when something comes up for us that isn't life-threatening in particular, because when something is life-threatening, of course we go to the hospital, of course we go to emergency. But if it's something that comes up for us that is perhaps a recurring injury or an illness, then we are able to sit with it and say, okay, why have you come up right now? What else is going on in my life? What are you trying to guide me towards? What are you trying to wake me up to? What are you communicating to me? And we sit with that and ask. And so from that point, we don't have to hold those symptoms for very long. If we get the answer, we don't need to keep the illness. We don't need to keep the injury. Or if we have the injury, we don't need to suffer with the injury. We can be a lot less in pain and a lot less in suffering simply because we got the message early. We can recover from illness much quicker because we are sitting with that actual meaning and message behind it, and we know what changes to make, what decisions to make from that point, which will radically alter our experience. And so I see a world that doesn't suffer as much. I see a world that's not in as much pain, and a world that honors the body as the temple that it is, that houses the soul, and isn't just trying to squash its voice all the time. And pain and suffering are, I have great respect for pain. Pain is communication from the body, and nobody enjoys it. It doesn't feel like good communication when we have it. Nobody enjoys pain. But what it is our body's way of stopping us in our tracks. It's our body's way of saying, hey, wake up. What you're doing is hurting me. What you're doing is out of alignment with who you really are. And have a look at how you can choose something better, make a better choice. So it's an invitation. It's an invitation from our body, and it's an invitation from the universe, God, source, the powers that be, your highest self, whatever word you want to put in there. It's an invitation from the divine consciousness that you are a part of to step towards your soul, to step towards why you're here, who you really are, what you really believe, and to be more you than you've ever been before.
Emma, I'm a fan. We need lots of Emma in the world right now. Emma, how can people contact you and learn about the work you do?
Well, they can come and follow me on Facebook. I am on Facebook at Emma Turton Health. So it's Emma Turton Medical Intuitive. And they can also check out my website, which is emmaturton.com.au. And on there, you'll find all kinds of things. So there's meditations to download. There's a free ebook that's all about what to do when you are craving dessert. So you can pop over there and you can interact with me there as well. And there's also medicalintuitionschool.com. So I'm also the founder and director of Medical Intuition School. So I train students there to learn to use medical intuition in their own lives. And I also train practitioners in medical intuition to do what I do, to support people on their health journey, and to help them to wake up to their own power, to heal themselves from within, and to support them on that journey as well, through using their intuitive eye to see inside their clients and help them find that root cause so they can start to heal. Sometimes we do need that help of somebody else to see when we're sitting in that blurry picture. So to help us see the forest for the trees. And that's where a medical intuition practitioner comes in. So I'm training groups of medical intuition practitioners now to be able to serve the world in that way as well. So you can find me there as well.
Yes. And I encourage everyone to, if you haven't already, pick up your copy of Awakening, go to Emma's chapter. Yeah. Emma, thank you for the work that you do. I see you being on the leading edge of where we are going with medicine. This is true healthcare.
Yeah. Yes, it's true healthcare. That's exactly right. I love that. And that's we all have access to true healthcare. True healthcare is free. So let's come back to true healthcare, because it's going to revolutionize the whole world.
Absolutely. Thank you, Emma.
Thank you.
I appreciate what you contribute and what you do in the world. Until next time, everyone, big hugs from Colorado.